Going live. What's up, everybody? How you doing? And welcome to Roundtable with the Stream Team. Good time, Al. And this is where we sit and we talk to content creators about their amazing journeys and what they do and what they are, how they're, how they are where they are today. And today we have ChrisP here from Wikuku Games. He is one of the three individuals, like I was saying last week, that we're going to be taking time to interview. It is going to be, we had Papa Dom last week. We're getting ChrisP this week. Next week we're getting Dr. Bob, who's not really a doctor, and we're going to deep dive into that next week because I can't wait to ask him what is going on because I'm confused as anything on what he actually is a doctor of, but we'll get to that next week. So, ChrisP, thank you for taking the time to come and hang out. How are you doing? What's going on, man?
Of course. I mean, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I've been looking forward to it. I haven't seen you in a while, so it's kind of nice to see your face, even if it's just virtually.
Yes.
But as for myself, I've been good, man. It's just kind of getting by with what's going on. So just enjoying my life from the indoors at the moment, but no complaints here.
Yes, the quarantine life as we all live.
That's right, man. It's something else. Let me tell you. Thank God for video games for getting me through this. Let me tell you.
Oh man, if I haven't been training for this for years, I think I might have been gone crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean we've been training for this our whole lives. I mean,
Right?
I don't go out as it is.
Right? Well, you go out to get beer and you go to the bars.
Yeah, I mean that's a little different though. That's a little treat. It's a little treat.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming and stopping in. I can't wait to talk to you about everything. Thanks. Oh, so we are one panelist down. Oh, MJ, he had to take care of some personal stuff. He hit me up last minute and was like, "Pete, I can't make it." So, unfortunately, he is not here with us. But we have Miss L Boogie 0208. What is going on? How are you doing?
Trying to hurry up and find the unmute button. But I'm doing well. I'm pretty good. Yeah.
Good.
I've been feeling really good. I found some sleep aids. So.
Have you been
game changer?
Yes, they are. Melatonin gummies. Are you going with the melatonin?
Yeah.
So
I was like, I didn't know, and now I'm a total believer.
So if you awesome. not to be a drug dealer right now,
right?
But my wife, she is part of this thing called Neora, and one of the things they have are these melatonin gummies, and we call them sleepy chews, and they knock her out.
Yeah,
and it's so good. And they just have them sent to her house, sent to our house.
Yeah, right.
Every month. So she's just got to pop one in. She pops one in around 9:00, around 9:30. She's like,
"That's incredible! I got to try those bad boys out."
I'm telling you,
if you want some, tell me, and we'll hook you up. We'll see what we can
do. I mean, it's all legal, right? So I mean,
it's all legal.
I got mine from the regular grocery store. I got the Ollie ones, but they're pretty good. And it's funny because my kid was like, when we went and got them, there was some for kids, and she was like, "Oh, I want to try them too." Best.
Right to bed.
Yeah.
It's like your basketball shooting them from the kitchen table, like popcorn.
Dinner time.
Salt Bay.
That's awesome. They also have Sam also has these their energy chews. So they do the total opposite. So she takes one of those in the morning. She takes a sleepy one at night. It's
right.
It's great. It's a perfect
I
balance.
like that they're all natural, so you're like, dude, what have we been missing? What are we doing?
Exactly. Oh, well, I'm sorry, how was that? Better than melatonin.
All right.
We got to talk more offline.
Right, yeah. Right.
I'll do it. I'll get you.
Hey, what you been doing?
I'm Joe Rogan and I smoke grass. No,
right.
No, so anyway, yes. Well, thank you very much for being able to make it tonight, El.
Yeah.
And everyone knows me. I am Snaldo Pete. No one can ever type and pronounce my name. So it's me, and I'm here hanging out, playing lots of video games. Definitely.
Have you been?
Games.
That's irregular for you.
That's that. Oh my god! Because we're inside, it's like we're so restricted on what's going on.
Yeah.
So my little I'm taking a Wikuku game thing. My weekend thing was running Cat 5 cables and coax cables with my dad, so we could fix this internet problem. So we don't drop internet connections anymore. I don't have to worry about it. And my stream has been popping, is in the words of MJ. So it's been great. So It's been a good couple of days. So
I don't know if it's like an all everyone being inside type thing, but my internet has been awful, like
Yep.
so
It is.
bad.
What are you on? Are you
So
on
I
fiber?
have no, I don't even blame me. I'm dumb when it comes to that. I
Okay,
just
so-
know that I have Xfinity.
Okay, Xfinity is not a full fiber connection. So you're probably in the same boat as I am. Like the way that works is you have like a node, which is like a group of people in an area. So all these people will connect to this one node. So if one person needs more bandwidth, the node will go, okay, this person will get it, and we'll give it to them. And then it'll be like, oh, this person needs more internet, and then give it to them. So if you have like a bunch of people that are in Xfinity in your area, they're just gonna like zap you. So that's
So you know
that's
those
what's
gray
happening to me.
boxes that are like on the corners?
Yeah.
Those are those.
Oh, well,
So like
Did my
your
headset
internet
just die?
runs
You
to
guys hear me?
those. I can hear
Hey.
you. Yeah. But anyways, what happens is all the internet runs there. And a lot of times all that to there is fiber. But then when it comes to your house, it's coaxial.
that's crap then. I mean, they're
Right.
tossing out bandwidth. Give me a little
Right.
bit. For
Yeah.
God's
Yeah.
sakes.
Yeah. But yeah, I always know it's around 9 o'clock because I live in an apartment building and I still have Verizon and I'm supposed to have fiber, but I noticed like around 9 p.m. it just sucks.
Oh,
Like,
it's the worst.
Everybody's getting kicked off and
I
stuff.
caught myself in my living room the other night. Like my internet completely went out of nowhere. I was like loading into a match of Valorant and it was like the first round. And before you know it, the thing just shuts down. So I go out and I handle it, I fix it. And I go back into the kitchen to get like a beer like an hour later. And I caught myself staring at my router, like kind of like I was like, what am I doing? I'm a grown man,
Right.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like lunging at a router. It pissed me off so much.
you're swinging at it,
Yeah.
you're smacking
Yeah.
it around.
I have to tell myself, like, you know, this is what's going on. Stop trying to fix it. You know, there's really like nothing I can do because I do IT stuff. So I'm like trying to go through all the steps, but it's not going to do anything because it's the main, you know, I'm in an apartment building. So it's everybody is sharing this huge ass cable. So,
Well, I put another call into Optimal Online.
oh, yeah, what they say?
Yeah, so they'll be out this Saturday.
Nice.
So they're coming out Saturday, so I can sit down with this dude and be like, listen, here's $20. This is what's wrong. I know this is what's wrong. It's
Right.
those guys down the street probably having some, backdoor internet website that I cannot name because of TOS conditions that are, sucking up bandwidth between this time and this time. So please fix this.
Dude, the worst part, like, especially coming from an IT background, like both of yourselves, I mean, when you call and you're just like, I need help with this because I've tried everything, it's not working. It's like, well, have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in? It's like,
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing, dude.
They had me on a list. A don't fuck with me list.
Love that.
Basically, like, they were like, oh no, like, you have to speak to like managers all the time. And I'm like, cool, that sounds good for me because that bypasses all the,
Oh, God, yeah.
stupid people
Oh,
I have to
that's
talk
nice.
to. Like, you are not offending me at all, sir. I'm very happy I don't have to talk to you dumbasses.
It's
Yeah.
better for
Point
you,
me
better
straight,
for me.
right? Better for you, better for me. Win-win. Good.
Put your manager on the phone, please.
Right. Yeah.
With one of our internet service providers at work, I called them up and I'm like, and they go like, hello, this is blah blah blah. I'm like, hey Chris, how you doing? Like before he even says his name, I recognize his voice. And I'm like, what's
Oh,
going
that's
on?
not
And
good.
he's like, hey Pete. I'm like, this is
How's the
what's up.
family? How's the kids?
Right.
I'm like, this is what's wrong. This is what's going. This is the link. This is the guy. I already called your technician because I have his personal cell phone number. He's gonna be here tomorrow. Just put the ticket in for him, please.
Love it. Love it.
That's
Put
what
the
I-
ticket in.
Put the ticket in. So,
That's hilarious.
so what about you, El? What were you playing this weekend?
So I've been playing a lot of Sea of Thieves still.
Ooh.
I don't know what it is. Like, I'm wanting to play that game again. Although I tried to play Arena and it took us like 20 minutes to get in a match. I don't know if that's normal or not. Like,
Sea of Thieves arena?
yeah.
I'm
I don't know if it was just because
surprised,
it was the weekend or like they were having trouble because they just released like a new
A new
update,
patch. Mm.
right, with like new content and stuff. So I don't know if it was just a ton of people trying to get on, but it took forever.
May I ask, because I don't know anything about Sea of Thieves, what is the arena?
So it's like their battle royale of sorts on. So you come in and you got 4 crews,
Okay.
right? And there's like ships, and there's also like an island where you can loot stuff. But the point is to try to sink as many people as possible before the time runs out.
Okay. Okay.
So there's lots of maneuvering going on. I mean, like people are trying trick moves. You know, you're able to like harpoon people and grab onto their ship, pull them close to you. Like, and there's special cannonballs. So there's one that'll make someone's anchor drop. There's one that'll take all their stuff. There's one that'll make them start dancing. Like all kind of crazy shit. So
Do you play in
like,
teams?
yeah. So
Oh,
there's like
Lord.
4 crews.
Oh,
4
that's
crews
sick.
of 4, right?
Yeah, 4 crews of 4 on galleons. Like it's pretty crazy.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I've never got into it, but I know people that love it.
Like
and I've
love
watched,
it, yeah.
and I've watched people stream it and whatnot, and they have a blast playing. Just
Yeah.
for me, it was just never something I really could get into. I played it once. I was like, maybe I'll try again next week. And next week turned into 3 years later.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
haven't picked it
No,
back up.
like I totally get that it's not for everyone. And like it was funny because on Grown Woman Gaming on Saturday, someone was like, we had a guest and he was like, Chase Money. And he's like, Sea of Thieves. And I was like, look, I don't want to hear it. Don't talk to me. I don't care that you don't like the game. I'm enjoying myself. Leave me alone.
See, I don't have a problem with the game. It's like I just don't have the time to play it. I have so many things I want to play, and I need to focus on so much stuff to make sure my stream community is happy.
Yep.
And then the times that I'm not playing, I am with my wife. I am with my family. That's what I do. So it's like I have to have this fine line of what is going on and what's happening.
Happy balance.
Yes, yes.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why like I stream like at 7, 8 o'clock at night because that'll give me time after work to kind of decompress, get a little time in with the kiddo. We just found Monopoly Speed, which I didn't know was a thing you can play in 10 minutes.
What?
So,
Wow.
yep.
It's a game changer. I mean, those games usually take a day and a half.
Oh my God. When I
Those will
saw it, I
break
was like, yes, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
I will buy that.
They break families. They legitimately break families, Monopoly.
It's unreal.
That's funny. Yeah. So yeah, that and Apex, Call of Duty, of course. We got some wins this weekend. That was awesome. In their battle royale. And then I think I played Madden with my dad on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
That was on ESPN this weekend too. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, because they said that even with MLB and I heard in a couple other games that they've been playing with major league people have been playing these games and they're streaming it.
Yeah, there's everyone. Right? And then like even the NHL is starting on May 5th. They have people representing like at least one person from every 31 teams playing against each other.
But that's the thing, like at that point, it's like you know those guys that are gamers.
Yeah.
Because there's always a couple of gamers that are just lurking.
Well, that also lets you know how thirsty everyone is for any type of major league sports entertainment because most people would not watch this, but they are because this is all you have. You're either going to watch video games or nothing.
When people ask me, they're like, Pete, do you watch sports? I'm like, esports?
Yeah.
That's what I say, esports? And they're like,
I love esports.
They're like, no, real sports. I'm like, what's real sports? I'm like, do I look like I play
mean
real
physically?
sports?
Like you touch each other?
Well, I bet those people are very quiet right now because there are no real sports on.
Right.
Yeah.
I win.
Yeah.
That's
like
great.
you said, we've trained our whole lives
We've
to.
trained our whole lives.
I actually did play sports in high school though.
So. Oh, me too. That was like my glory days. Yeah. I'm so washed up now. It's crazy.
Listen. My sport in middle school, not even high school, was tennis. Okay.
That's kind of badass though. I like that.
That's what I played. With the shorts, because it was still like I was still old
hot.
enough. It was disgusting. It was horrible.
I'm gonna need pictures.
Never screenshot her. It never happened.
Yeah, right.
I'll have to ask my mom. She probably has them somewhere.
Yeah.
They went to every game and they were like, "I know my son's terrible at sports, but I'm here to support him."
No,
we gotta love that though.
Yeah,
it was good.
Right.
It was nice. But now
they were probably talking shit about you the whole time in the stands.
Yeah. But the thing is that
sucks.
I am now way better than any of my other family members in tennis. So it actually works out really, really well. So it's good. It's good. But so Chris, why don't you first tell us what you were ending up playing for this weekend and what's going on? Probably Valorant nonstop. But and then
you have to explain that game too, because I really don't.
Why don't we go into that and then we'll go into your background? So.
Yeah, so this weekend, I mean, I really haven't been playing much of anything besides Valorant and Animal Crossing, a little yin and yang right there. I mean, two completely opposite games, but Valorant is like the best way I could describe it. It's a mix of Counter-Strike and Overwatch. Counter-Strike with the gunplay, Overwatch with like they call them agents in Valorant, but their abilities. You have a healer and there's like no tanks or anything, but everyone has their own ability. So you're able to kind of build out comps from there. And of course, you watch the pros, and they are kind of setting the guidelines of what's going on comp wise. But right now, Valorant's still in closed beta, so the only way to get it is to get a drop from Riot Games on Twitch. And a lot of people have gotten them. They've given out so many at this point, but there's still people chomping at the bit trying to get it. Me personally, I'm liking it. I come from a Counter-Strike background, and like my cup of tea is first-person shooters. That's like really what drags me in. And I'm liking it. It's super competitive. It's frustrating as hell. My desk is definitely not happy with me with the amount of times that I've punched it. But it's good to have that kind of competitive spirit back in a game, because I haven't had that since I played CSGO years ago.
Can I say that what I ended up making sure I ended up doing, and I don't remember if it was with Dom or not, but I was talking about throwing my mouse. When I used to get pissed off when I was younger at playing first person shooters, I would literally like take a mouse and just throw it. To the point where I broke 2 of them, and I'm like, I gotta stop doing this. So I ended up.
I'll get a wired mouse.
Well, it was a wired mouse.
That's
so
impressive.
yes. So what I ended up doing was I got like a squishy ball. So now, well, not now. I don't do it anymore. But my anger management issues have now been, they're better now. But I just used to take the ball and squeeze it and then throw it.
Yeah.
But so I ended up doing that.
A little bit better than the mouse. I mean, I've definitely had my fair share of broken controllers and keyboards and mice. I'm a little bit older now, so now I just take it out on the mouse pad. But I've definitely contemplated getting like the little punching bag for the corner of your desk and stuff like that. Maybe that's a sign I should stop playing competitive games. But it's like a drug I can't get enough of. I just have to keep playing it. But like I said, that game, it's my flavor of the week at the moment. I was telling Pete beforehand, I was like, my big thing is I get super addicted to a game for a short period of time, and then I get sick of it. I'm like Finbar Calamitous from the Fairly Odd Parents. Like, I just forget what I was doing. I'm just like, like I never liked the game in the first place, even if I loved it. But this game, I can see myself playing it definitely more. A lot of companies and whatnot are doing big time tournaments and stuff. It's kind of projected to be the next big FPS esport. There's people leaving their current teams from Counter-Strike and joining new organizations and whatnot. It's there's definitely a lot of growing for it. And then on the contrary, I've been playing a little Animal Crossing. My villagers hate me because I haven't seen them in a couple of weeks, so I feel bad. So I had to pop in.
They
say
get
what's
real
up,
emo
boys.
on you.
What did I remember listening to the podcast today? What did they say to you when you logged in for the first time?
When I logged back in, I'm trying to think. It was a guy named Coach. He's like a little English bulldog looking guy. And I think he just said, "Oh, you still live here," or something like that. But he was pissed. He didn't want to talk to me.
Yeah, they get real emo on you real quick.
Yeah.
Do you see what Dave said in chat, by the way? What King
I don't
David
know,
said? He said, "Yo, Tom Nook is a crook."
That's a fact.
He is.
He's
It's
a
like my
crook.
tag. Like, don't trust Tom.
You show up on the
On my
island. He's like,
passport.
"Hey, thanks for joining. You owe me 50,000 bells or whatever."
Right.
It's like, dude, I haven't even put my sleeping bag down yet.
Right? He's like, there is the matter of your bill.
Absolute crook. Honestly, he might be the biggest villain in video game history.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
He's up there.
And I will say this every podcast this week, well, with all you guys, one of my favorite highlights is when you screamed at Tom Nook.
All right. So I'm not proud of it. Well, let's put it like that. But I knew it was like the perfect opportunity for content on our social media. So I was like, all right, sometimes you have a one in a lifetime chance that like it just everything falls into the right place, right time. And Dom and I have been going in on our Twitter and like blogs and stuff at the time saying how much we can't wait for the game and how much Tom Nook sucks. So I saw Tom Nook, well, like one of the poor little interns dressed up as Tom Nook walking by me, a grown man goes, "Hey, Bob, move out of the way for a second." I pull my phone out. I go, "Tom, you're a crook." I screamed at the top of my lungs, and like all the Nintendo workers' heads like snapped. I'm like, what the hell is the matter with this kid? But I just like closed the video down. I was like, and I just walked away. But do I regret it? No, he needed to hear it.
You vent out your frustrations.
No, yeah, he
You
had
and your
it.
turnips and your bells. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I didn't do it just for me. I did it for everyone that plays the game. Call me a hero if you want, but I had to do it.
Papa Dom, man's broke as hell over there on Penn Island.
Yo, all right. So I'm not. That's Dom, like the Bell King. The kid's making millions of dollars in bells. I made like a measly like 40K in profit on the stock market, and I thought I was like Big Meech. And Dom's like, "Oh well, I made 10 million bells yesterday." I'm like, "All right, dude, I get it." But I have workers, I have employees. I have my little sister getting my turnips on Sundays, selling them if I don't have time, and then just mailing me my cut, and I give her a little profit on top of it. I have employees.
That's good. You got to get that pyramid scheme working already.
Yeah, Ponzi scheme.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So now we can finally ask you, tell us about your background, your gaming, and you know, where you came from and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I have a very diverse background, I would say, when it comes to like work and life and stuff like that. Did I think I would be making like a podcast or have a gaming blog? Probably some piece of my mind I did at some point. I didn't realize the uptick in kind of gaming content that would have happened in kind of this day and age. But I was young. I was probably like 14 when I built my first computer just off of YouTube. I was like, all right, like I'm a nerd. I wear this proudly. I love this. So what do I want to do for work? I want to do IT. So I kind of went through my whole life with like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do IT. And I did that for years. And that was when I had a job working with Papa Dom. And he approached me one day. He was like, you know how to build websites, right? I go, yeah. And he goes, do you want to build a website for me? You could be a part of this blog that Rob and I are trying to build. I'm like, yeah, I'll definitely do that. So that was kind of where we made that start. We built the website over a couple months. And I remember our first blogs that we put on there, they were like, me personally, they were trash. John comes from a background where like he's a very good writer, very articulate and everything like that. And me, I was like, I'm just trying to find my footing. I thought I was just the behind the scenes guy. Fast forward 4 years now, we've been doing it weekly. We blog daily. It's kind of the new norm. And I'm lucky enough to have a career where I work from home a lot, and I don't necessarily have to be somewhere every day. So when news breaks, your boy's on the keyboard. I'm like, all right, like I'm good for this, which is why I'm kind of our social guy as well, because as you guys know, social media is all about speed and creativity. So you got to be like on the ball when stuff breaks. And that's kind of how you build a following from there.
Gotcha. Dave, thank you very much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Get your sleep. I know, nighttime life is up your alley. So thanks again for stopping by, my man. So you now, not this is prior to quarantine life, thankfully, that you were able to, for you to be able to have this social media side, because I noticed over the course of time, like the Twitter feed mostly comes from you. So I kind of figured that out. So what, like generally, because like we were talking before, I want to get into like a deep dive for WGG, you guys all for in a couple of weeks. But like generally, what would you say your role is for the site and for the podcast and everything?
Yeah, so I would say my main role is social. I would definitely say that's my main role, but once again, I'm a co-host on the podcast. We've been doing it for 177 episodes. We have almost 1,000 blogs on the site. Probably like a quarter of them come from me, maybe a third of them. And then I think my strong suit within WGG as a whole is the social aspect of thing. I've definitely spent a lot of time trying to kind of perfect how social media is supposed to be done. And I think I finally kind of broke through, and I know what works for me and what works for our brand. I personally, so I can speak kind of from a social standpoint, right? Kind of like best practices that I've used within it. I think there has to be a voice behind the name. There's so many accounts where it's just like curated accounts where you're posting viral clips and like these little blurbs that are going to get tons of engagement, or you clickbait this so people argue. You could do that, but there's never really a face behind it, which is why I make it a point to kind of post videos of myself doing stupid shit sometimes. It's like, okay, like this is an actual person behind this account. And it's worked. And a big thing that I've seen as well is I go by the 80-20 rule when it comes to social media. 80% is entertaining, 20% is like plugging your own stuff, because you don't want to bog people down on kind of going live, new blog, help support here with like no kind of buffer in between. Of course, it works different with everyone. This is what I've just seen work with us. So I'll do like viral clips, I'll do conversation starters, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, by the way, like here's a new episode of the podcast. So I try to sprinkle in both, and I've seen a lot of success with it. Definitely.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
So what would you think is one of your like number one priorities for the podcast and everything for you guys?
So big priority to us, and it always has been, and I'm not going to steal Dom's answer, but I'm definitely going to highlight it. Consistency is huge.
Yeah.
Consistency is huge. I mean, you have to be in the same place, same time. People have to know where to expect you. One thing that I think has kind of propelled us and something that I find very important is authenticity at the end of the day.
Mhm.
People can find information anywhere on the internet,
Mhm.
anywhere. It's at your fingertips. You can type it into your phone, you can type it into your computer, and you're going to find a billion blogs on it. You're going to find a billion YouTube videos on it. But people want to relate to the creator. People want to relate to what you're saying and kind of how you think of it. And even if they don't agree with it, you have to be able to embrace debate. You have to be there and you have to have that conversation back and forth. And that's kind of how you build that. But I don't think we've ever changed up in the past 4 years that we've done it. We've had big time guests on, we've had hometown buddies, and we act the same way every time. We're just friends. We're just normal people behind a monitor, just chopping it up. And I think a lot of people like that. And I don't see that necessarily changing for us anytime soon. If you want to throw the bag at us and be like, oh, you can't swear anymore, maybe I'll try. I'll definitely try.
Yeah.
But like, I'm still me deep down. And I just always try to be as transparent and authentic as possible, as is Dom and Bob.
As I tell people all the time, if you're gonna throw like the bag of cash at me, I will take it. I will take it.
Yeah, tell me what you want me to do. I mean,
Yeah,
I'll ride off on my gold jet ski into the sunset, never swearing again. Just tell me.
Yes, exactly. So what was I gonna say? You started to do more streaming now because of Valorant coming out. Because I noticed your Twitch page is kind of more active. So when you started to do the streaming and stuff, did you just start now, or have you been doing it over the course of time?
So I would say recently is when I actually started. I've tried in the past, but I never really got my OBS settings right. So I was always lagging and it just was never enjoyable. And it wasn't what I wanted to do, just because I was playing different and I wasn't able to enjoy the game, which kind of reflected to people that were watching it. Recently I got my settings right and I found a game that I genuinely like. So I streamed for like 8 hours one day when Valorant first came out. And that's more than I've ever streamed in my life combined. I mean, it's really not my thing though. At the end of the day, I don't necessarily see myself streaming for a full day's work. It's just something I can't do. It's very difficult. And I've learned to gain a ton of respect for people who do it for a living. It's just really not me. Will I do it? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, we're trying to grow a brand, and whatever kind of I have to do that, I will. Everything we do is kind of like siloed back to the brand as a whole. So we could all kind of do our own thing, but at the end of the day, it just gets sucked back up into the umbrella, which is WGG.
So, what would you say is for like the streaming side of for what you're going through? Like, what do you feel is the most important for people to see and to deal with when it comes to that?
I think you have to play games that you enjoy. I mean, there's a lot of people that stream things because they think that's what other people want to see.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to stream games that you like, because if you're going to be sitting there for hours, you don't want to be miserable. Right. And I think at the end of the day, if you're playing something you don't enjoy or something's happening that you don't enjoy, it'll project off of you, and the people watching you can see that. Like, all right, this guy's like watching paint dry, or like this guy's pissed off, and like I'm just trying to relax, and this guy's all mad and yada yada. So if you play something you enjoy, you can stream for a long period of time. And I mean, don't look at the viewer count. I know it's difficult for a lot of people, and they say like, oh, don't look at the viewer count, it's discouraging. First of all, it is. I mean, just kind of call it what it is. But at the same time, do it because you enjoy doing it, which kind of ties into playing games that you like.
Mm-hmm. So, what is the first game that you can remember playing?
First game I can remember playing, I want to say Spyro. I think Spyro.
Original PlayStation?
The OG PlayStation. I remember being super young, and I had a tendency when I was younger to sleep in very late. But when I started playing Spyro, we had one PlayStation in the house. So it was either I got to it or my older brother got to it. And we were playing for a while, and he would never pass the controller. He would never let me do anything like that. So I'm like, all right.
Older brother?
I have to. Older brother.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Yeah, I'm the little brother, and it was just like when I was young, I was like, oh, like I'm on PlayStation now. You wait your turn. So
is he also tall and lanky?
No, he is not. I'm the tallest person in my family.
Yeah,
I'm a big boy. I'm a big boy. But I would say Spyro, and I would teach myself to kind of wake up super early. So I used to be up at like 4:35 a.m. and just like roll right into the living room and play Spyro forever. And then I got a PlayStation. The hell, it was pretty much a portable PlayStation. It wasn't the PSP, but it was a portable PlayStation, and you were able to like plug it into the car and whatnot. And I used to bring the PlayStation with me everywhere. And like, even if it was like a small ride, I'm like, all right, like my dad has like the red, yellow and white kind of outlet, whatever it's called.
The component cables.
Yeah, the component cable. So I'll just get right in. Yeah, hey, how's it going? Just plug it right in. Just play a little Spyro.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
That game definitely sticks out to me. That and then Crash Bandicoot. Those are like young boy. Like I love that. And then I think I got into like the online multiplayer world with SOCOM Navy SEALs.
SOCOM.
That was a great game.
It's a pretty good game.
Phenomenal game.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Elle, how about you? Do you remember the first game you can remember?
Yeah.
My headset.
I think this is the first one. I think I'm pretty consistent in saying this one, but Duck Hunt is probably the most standout-ish game of when I was younger. Besides, like, that's like mine. I remember playing in my room, and I was like an only child for most of my life.
I don't think I've ever played Duck Hunter, to be honest with you.
Duck Hunt.
I know exactly what it is, but I don't think I've ever played it.
Yeah, no, I love Duck Hunt. And
shoot the dog.
Right.
You don't remember? Like, that's what I did.
Yeah.
That's what my dad did.
Had the orange gun.
Yeah. Well, I had the original silver ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Flex a little hotter, Pete.
Yeah.
My grandparents bought us the original Nintendo, right? And it was like one of those gifts that we got, and we kind of looked at it, me and my brother, we were like, is this really happening? Our grandparents got us this? And my parents were like, you're only allowed to play them Friday nights, Saturday, half a day Sunday. That's it. And they gave us and I was just like, oh man. But like, they were super strict with us. And when they were gone, like, we knew our parents like hid the cart. My parents would take the cartridges and hide them on us. So we had to go digging and looking for them. But yes,
I remember that so much. Like, if I was like, oh, I don't feel good, I can't go to school, aka I just wanted to stay home and play games, my mom would be like, all right, well, I'm taking the wires to work with me. And I'd be like, okay, yeah, you can take them. Trust me, I don't feel good. I know exactly where they were hidden. And I went to go grab them as soon as she left.
Oh, man. But that was the first game you remember, Elle? Duck Hunt?
Yeah, for sure. Duck Hunt. I don't think I remember anything else besides like regular Super Mario, and blowing into the cartridges,
Did you ever have to like put it in and then push it down just ever so much so it would work? And then
because my dumb ass would do that.
Yeah, you had to try both ways. You had to
You're like, that's not working.
Like the monitor, like the TVs.
Right. And your parent yells from the other room, what are you doing?
The TV's flickering.
Right.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll try to. I'm surprised, like, barcades probably do, right? They probably have Duck Hunter there still. Is that like a thing that can still float around? I'm definitely gonna have to like, proactively look for that.
Probably, yeah.
We will see.
Trying different things over here because apparently my headset is not being appropriately working today. So don't mind me if I'm moving around a bunch.
That's all right. Don't worry.
So yes, so now you've been playing Valorant. Like you were saying before, would you say that is like your number one favorite game,
like of all time or currently?
Well, both. Give me both.
Oh, it's definitely not my favorite game of all time. No, it's like I said, it's kind of my flavor of the week right now. I don't know how long I'll necessarily been playing it for, but I don't kind of let that dull down enjoying it right now. If we have to talk about like favorite games of all time, this is a game I got laughed at left and right for because I just cannot stop talking about it. Have you guys ever played the game Bully?
Yes.
That game was the shit.
I want them to make another one so fucking bad.
I was so bummed when like the lead developer of Bully left Rockstar. I was like, oh, we're definitely not getting it out, which was only a couple months ago, but I was heartbroken. And that game was so cool. It was so different at the time. I'm a big Rockstar guy. I love stuff they put out. I mean, if we're not talking about Bully as a favorite game, I am a sucker for the GTA franchise. Me too. I will still quote things. The first time I saw
somebody pick up a hooker and then like beat her ass after. Like,
you just pop on the side of the road.
You were like, I came over to watch my cousin play. I'm like, what are you playing? Like, they allow you to do this?
Yeah.
Like, this is like okay, in the video game. So yeah, I was hooked.
I remember that you used to like you used to just like drive up, stop the car, like beep twice,
Yep.
and then out of nowhere the car would just start like rocking.
She like came over, like switching, like
yeah. Yeah. I mean, San Andreas was unreal. Like that still has such a spot in my heart. I loved Vice City, and even recently, I kind of put this as one of the best games of all time. GTA 5. That was one of the best games of all time, and kind of still sells more than a lot of games till this day. You had 3 characters that you can play. You had a 6 storyline that can go in multiple directions. It was really, really cool. I look forward to every one of those that they put out. And I mean, GTA 6 has been the most talked about thing for the past 5 years now. I mean, if it wasn't for that, a lot of news outlets wouldn't have like clickbait articles to put out.
Right.
But I see that left and right till this day, like GTA 6 confirmed, taking place in Boston, taking place in Miami. Like this is the logo, this leak. It's all like bull at this point. But like,
so how much longer do you think we have to wait?
oh, we have a couple more years.
Ugh.
We have a couple more years for GTA 6.
Oh,
it literally just started getting developed like probably a couple weeks ago.
Right.
It's in early development as of like a couple weeks ago.
It's really funny, the camera with for L.
It's like comes through the fire.
Yeah, going through the fire. That's amazing. So GTA. So you're saying that GTA is probably your favorite game?
I would say so.
Or with Bully.
Bully's my favorite game of all time. That is like hands down my favorite game of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the GTA franchise as a whole, I shouldn't say as a whole. I wasn't a big fan of some of them, but like San Andreas and Vice City and GTA 5,
Mm-hmm.
those are kind of grouped up as like my favorite games. If I had to pick one out of there, I'd say GTA 5.
Did you like the version of GTA right now?
What do you mean, like the multiplayer aspect of it?
Yeah.
I love it, honestly. So
Yeah?
I love watching GTA role playing. I think it's one of the funniest things in the world. Those people are incredible at what they do. Like they play a character and they can't break character. And I've tried doing it and it's very difficult. I play it with like a couple of people that hang around, and my character was what the hell was his name? Like Sean Fitzpatrick. And I used to own an auto body shop on the East Coast, and now I moved to LA to be an Uber driver and pursue my career as an actor. Like that was my storyline. So if you got stopped on the streets, I was like, "Oh, what's your story?" Boom, that's my story. And like you grow from there. I think it's so cool. So I'm a big fan of kind of where GTA has gone, because the uptick in role playing that's come out of it, it's huge. Like RuneScape role playing used to be a huge thing, and like it finally came back to the light with Grand Theft Auto, which is really cool.
Do you think that which is your favorite like open world? Would you say, because there's not many people that I know that like enjoy GTA as much as you seem to enjoy it. That's why I have to ask. Like for me, like I'm not a huge fan of GTA, but I love the open world of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Like I love that.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed was always kind of up there for me. I hate how, I guess, monotonous it really got and repetitive that it felt. But when I was first starting to play that game, like the fighting mechanics of it and the way that you're able to jump off a roof into like a hay bale, I found it the coolest thing in the world. And just like thinking back to like a childhood when I first got it, when the assassin was literally able to just like snap 2 blades out of like his long sleeve, like cloak, whatever it is. I love that. So I guess open world wise, I would have to throw Assassin's Creed in there. Do I play it anymore? No, but that's something where you say like open world game, like all right. Assassin's.
Yeah, the last 2 that came out, Odyssey and oh my god, I'm blanking on what the other one's called.
Was it Black Flag? No. I can't believe I'm blanking on it.
It's the one from Greece and the one from Rome. Those 2.
We talked about
Origin. Thank you. Those 2, they changed the combat so much on it. It actually makes me sad.
Yeah.
Because like I loved how Assassin's Creed was, and then that change, it made it feel like it was more of a God of War. And I was like, oh, I don't want to play God of War. If I wanted to play God of War, I would have played God of War. But like that was one of those things that I kind of had to deal with and got through. But all in all, fingers crossed, it was it's still a pretty decent game to play.
Yeah, I mean it's done well. Like I said, it's just like It's something where I've experienced it. I like the storylines that they throw in there. I like how you get to explore different parts of the world. I mean, I love what they do. They did about the whole like Notre Dame, like Coliseum or whatever it's called, the cathedral, like burning down, and they had it built down to like the brick, and they helped them rebuild. Like I love what they do, stuff like that, because it's a very detail focused game. I get that, but I don't really see myself paying full price for it anymore when it just goes on sale 2 weeks later every time.
Yeah, it's Ubisoft.
Yeah, it's the same thing every time. You buy a full price. It's like, all right, holiday season, Assassin's Creed, the newest game is now $25. Like, I should just wait.
Well, that was the thing, like with the whole thing with the, what is it called? Which is the last game that came out for them? Breakpoint. Like, I knew I did not like Wildlands, and so when Breakpoint came out, I'm like, I'm not picking it up. It's going to be a waste of money for me, not doing it. And then everyone was like, oh, this is terrible. This is just like the old one on sale. So, like, all my friends are like, we're picking it up on sale. We were waiting for this. We knew it was going to happen. So
it happens every time.
It happens with Ubisoft so much. It really does.
And, like, if it's not the sales, I mean, obviously, shout out to Dave on this. He didn't tell me to say this, but the only other way I'm going to try again, because, like, I don't want to pay full price for it, is if it's on Game Pass. That is the only time I'll like try a game out if I don't have to really pay for it. I'm happy paying.
So you're gonna try Gears Tactics?
I'll try it. I mean, I'll try everything once.
It's live. You know that, right?
It's good right now.
It's live right now.
Yeah, it's live today. Today the 30th. Oh no,
no, it's the 27th. But it says that I can play it.
Really? There's very few games that I get like about. Okay. Yeah, I said that.
You do that again. That was good.
So anyway. I'm creeping in them. Anyway, so all those tactical games like XCOM, I love them. So like Gears Tactics, XCOM, what was the new one that just came out? The Chimera Squad. Like I want to play all of them. Like I'm gonna get them and I'm gonna play them. And I'm gonna be like that guy with like the red bloodshot eyes because I've been playing games way too late, but I have to still go to work the next morning. But like because I want to play all those, and that's with Game Pass, and it is one of the best pricing for anything. You can play Sea of Thieves still. You had, what is it? GTA was there, and then that's leaving, and then
Red Dead's coming
in. We have Red Dead 2 going on there. They got GTA 5 if it's not on there already.
Yeah,
GTA 5 I think is already there.
Yeah, and then now you're saying Tactics. It just makes
it's the best deal in gaming. I like hands down. This isn't a paid thing, and I feel like I'm always like selling it for them, but it genuinely is.
It sells itself.
It does.
I'm hoping with this next generation they finally figure out family sharing. No more of this like you have my home console, I have your home console.
I bet they would. I hope they would. I mean, there's a bunch of other,
it was something back in 2013. So. And then they pulled back, remember, after the whole DRM issue. So I'm hoping that this time we can get something like that going.
Hopefully. Yeah, and like with a bunch of streaming kind of services as a whole, it's usually like one or two good games and then like a lot of fluff. Just be like, oh, well, these games are on there. You can try out this. But with Game Pass, they throw legitimate games on there. And there's like these smaller games. I think there was a game called like The Life of Pedro or something like that.
I love that game.
My friend Pedro. That game was so fun. Like,
it's fun.
Sav is obsessed. Like
I would have never played that if it wasn't for Game Pass.
When we were at PAX East, that game was there. And Sav, and not last year, but the year before, Sav was ready to take somebody and throw them out of the way so he can get to play that game.
It's fun.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
And it, but it has no reason being that fun, which is what I love. It's a stick figure that like causes havoc, and like it's like the way that you're able to like shoot a frying pan off the ground and then ricochet bullets off of it. It's like so simple but so complex. It was so fun.
Did you ever play One Finger Death Punch?
I have not.
Okay. You literally press one button, and you fight hordes of guys that are attacking you from the left and the right. And we played it at PAX East, 2019, and it was so much fun. It literally, you're just one dude going back and forth doing karate moves. And then, like, eventually you'll meet, like, a boss, and then you, like, have to do, like, a sequence of moves, and they have to do a sequence of moves, and then at the end, you'll see you're fighting it out and blocking back and forth, and if anyone messes up, the other person gets hit.
That's cool.
So it's really, really cool. We'll talk.
Yeah, well, we're definitely gonna talk because that sounds right up my alley. Nice and simplistic.
It is. It's one of those games you can play and not have to think about it. It's good. It's good. So you've been doing this the podcast for the past couple of years, the website for a couple of years. So how did your family feel when you said that, hey, this is what I'm doing?
With me growing up, I was always someone who tried to start these little ventures, whether it was like buying and reselling textbooks on Craigslist, or if it was like just like a whole bunch of stuff. I'm the type of person where like I would call my friends, like, guys, I think I got the genius idea. I think this is it. I once had an idea of like a cleaning service that would come to your house after you had a party and clean your house and bring you breakfast. It was called like Hangover Helpers, which is in retrospect a terrible idea, but like it was stuff like that where like how my mind was going. So when I first started,
I will say it was a kick-ass name.
It's a good name, right?
Good name.
In another one I had, I'm just gonna throw this out now. I think Mark Cuban stole it from me, or like a company he invested stole it from me. I want to do cereal milk, where you let your cereal like soak into milk and then you strain it out so your milk is that flavor. Because everyone knows the best part of cereal is the milk after. Am I wrong?
No, I agree.
That's just me. All right, cool.
I love them. See, there is this is gonna sound disgusting. There are blueberry Cheerios.
Ooh, yep, I've had them.
So blueberry Cheerios.
The little like blue specks fall off into the milk. Oh yeah,
so then your milk tastes like a blueberry flavor.
Good. Not my first rodeo.
For me, it's coconut milk, but same difference.
Hey, do your thing. But I guess as for kind of the blog and the podcast, they were just like, okay, like go ahead and do it. Let's see how long this one lasts. And we started it, and like a year went by, and they were like, "You still doing that?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, "Oh, cool." And then another year went by. "Oh, you still doing that?" "Yeah." "Oh, okay." And then fast forward 3.5, 4 years later, I think I was asked this like a couple months ago, so call it 4 years later, right? I was at my family's house, and I forget, it might have been my cousin. She was like, "Remember that podcast you were doing for a while?" I was like, "Yeah, still do it, baby. Bigger than ever right now." It's like, no, still do that. But it's like, it's something where I enjoy doing it. So I'm the type of person, I'm not going to waste time. If I don't like doing something, I won't do it. But I genuinely enjoy this. I get to like joke around with two of my best friends on a podcast and put it out there and make fools of us. I'll make people laugh. Like, yeah, I'm sold. I like doing it, so I'll continue to do it. But I would say ultimately they were supportive of it, and kind of steps that we've taken in the process. Like when I would throw like a number at them of like downloads or something, like, no shit, huh? Like people actually listen to them. Like, I guess so.
Yeah. And I'm gonna talk about it also when the rest of you guys are on. But one of the coolest things was when we went to the Predator party, and you and Bob ended up going to get your passes to go in, and they were like, "You're not on the list." And then that woman was like, "Oh, they were here every year. You can let them in. Just let them in." And I was just like, "Damn! Like, these guys got clout."
Yeah, it was like the manager. She was like, "Oh, you guys from Wicked Good Gaming?" You're like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh yeah, no, I know them. They're fine. Like, come on in." Like, hell yeah. I kind of like that better. I was like, at first I was like, "No shit. Like, we're not somehow on the list again."
Yeah.
And then like that happened. I was like, "All right, cool. Like that was worth it. I like that."
Yeah. That was one of the memorable moments I can remember. Because after that, we started getting sloshy.
Oh, it was a blur. I mean, free booze. I mean,
oh, it was so much fun. Elle, you have to come next year. You're coming next year.
It's a blast.
Yes.
I hope so. Like, yeah, I would love to come. I wanted to come this year, but I had just moved, so.
Yeah. But
I was on the West Coast.
Ooh.
Right?
Yes.
But I could go to E3 like every year, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, I might be biased because I'm from where PAX East happens, but it's like something I look forward to every year. Like the convention itself is tiring as hell. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Especially if you're there covering stuff as media, content creators, whatever. You're running around, your days are packed. And then at night, you have like parties that you get to go to. And if you're like me and sometimes forget to drink water, the next day is a bitch. And you're like, well, I do this to myself, but I still have this packed schedule and blah, blah, blah. You kind of have to go through the motions. But at the end of the day, it's super fun. It's great to talk about because you meet some awesome people. Prime example right there, I would have never met Pete. And
kind
of
sounds like E3.
Yeah. So I think it was the Saturday. I think it was Saturday. We came up to lunch and we were sitting at our table where we ate lunch, and Bob just comes down and just plops down at his table, and he's like, "I'm exhausted." I'm like, where are the? I'm like, just chill. I'm like, relax. I'm like, where are the rest of the guys? And out of nowhere, I just see you go, "Is Bob here?" Like, like from around the corner, like we had no idea you were sitting there in the corner, half asleep, essentially.
Dude, I was blurry eyed.
Oh
I
my
was like
God.
I was so groggy from the night before. I was, I'm just kind of doing my own thing. Honestly, I probably had no idea you guys were even in the room.
Probably, but
I
like,
just got a cup of water and sat in the corner.
yeah. Well, it's like you heard Bob's voice, and it was like, "It's Bob, it's me."
Well, I knew Bob had snacks. I knew he just met someone and got snacks. I was like, hell yeah, I'm hungry.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah.
He's always eating chocolate.
Yeah, they the chocolate he had. So we have someone that we've met kind of via the podcast and everything from Scotland, and he actually flew to Boston to go to PAX, and he brought us all these Scottish like candies and snacks and everything like that. So we just had our bags filled with like Scottish snacks, and that's what Bob had. He had those they're like mint chocolate spheres, and they were incredible. They were so good.
Yeah. He's like, these things are amazing.
Yeah, they were so good.
He's kept popping them.
There's like 300 of them in the bag, and just couldn't stop eating them.
Yes. El, do you have any questions for Chris that you can think of?
I'm an open book.
Are you?
I'm an open book.
He's like me. He literally will say anything.
All right. Do you have kids?
I do not have kids. I am as single as I've ever been in my life.
Oh, okay.
Why don't you reference the question that you were asked last week on the podcast? Do you
Wait,
remember?
what? No, I forget. What was I asked?
What games do you play with your significant others? Sorry, Chris. This is
Okay.
Yeah. That was the ultimate. I love that. It's like a like backhand at the end of it. I was like, all right, like if I had one, what would I do besides you, Chris? I'm like, oh, okay, wonderful. Like I guess I'm out of this conversation.
Yeah, you totally got backhanded.
Yeah, but it is what it is. I mean, there's so much on my plate with trying to grow what we have going on and just like normal life and stuff. Not really kind of proactively looking for. I'm young. I mean, I'm just trying to do my own thing.
And
well, I was going to ask if you played with your kids. So
no, I mean, I play with like little cousins and stuff. I played games with them. I mean, they're my little cousin just got a Nintendo Switch for Christmas, and he loves Super Smash. So he's a very quiet kid. So it was like Christmas last year, I think, and he out of nowhere, like I feel a little tug on the corner of my shirt. I was like, "What's up?" And he goes, "Can you help me in Super Smash?" I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." So I go over, sit down, play with them, and I ended up like winning some match that he got to unlock. I forget who it was, but he unlocked someone, and he was pumped because it was who he wanted to unlock. And before I know it, it kind of spiraled into his dad being like, "Chris, you want to play me?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Like, all right, let's do this. And we sat in the living room just talking about video games. So like, Bob, I didn't know like you liked video games in this. He was like, dude, if you only knew. He was like, I'm such a geek. I love it. I'm like, hell yeah. All right. So it kind of like opened that. But my little cousin loves Super Smash.
Did you ever feel the need? I'm sorry, El. Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, you.
Well, now I'm forgetting. So go ahead so I can remember.
I was gonna say, did you ever feel the need to just give the smackdown to like your cousins?
Yeah. I'm not letting them win. No way. It's like you got to teach them up front. Like you're not going to win every game. That's kind of how I was brought up. If I played one-on-one against my dad in the driveway, he wouldn't take it easy on me, and I kind of like it helps you get better. I mean, we're in the day and age now of like participation trophies, and like as long as you try and stuff like that, I'm not letting my family do that. Like no, I'm going full speed in the game. Like granted, if it's like a baby that doesn't know what they're doing, like I'll kind of take it easy, and then I'll smack them at the end. Like I'll make them think they have a chance, but I don't hold back.
We went to a party for my wife's cousins, and one of their kids was not getting off the computer downstairs, and the mother looked at me and said, "Pete, we all know you're very good at video games. You might have to go down there and beat him to get him up to come upstairs. So if this doesn't work, you're going to have to go down there." I'm like, fine. So
with pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. I've been training for this my whole life. So.
That's so funny. Yeah. I mean, you can't take it easy. You got to go for it.
Right. I feel the same way. Like They need to feel what it is, what defeat feels like.
Yeah, I mean,
Victory isn't as sweet unless you know what defeat feels like.
yeah, as Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent, once said, "Sunshine wouldn't be so good if it wasn't for rain."
All right.
You got to teach them that at a young age.
Was gonna say though, but what's your biggest disappointment of the generation? The game, like what game is your biggest disappointment? Like you were so hyped to play it, and then you played it, and you're like, "What the hell is this?"
There's one thing that comes to mind for sure because it was the first time Battle Royale got introduced to Call of Duty. It was Blackout for Black Ops 4, I believe.
Yeah.
And when that game came out in beta, it was so fun. I was like, all right, I'm playing with all my buddies, and this is so different. It's a whole different feel to a BR instead of playing Fortnite. So I was like, all right, let's play this. This is great, which I do not like Fortnite, just kind of putting that in there. But I was playing that. I was like, oh, great, I can't wait for this to come out. And then the game actually came out, and it was broken, like completely broken and just not enjoyable to play at all. And that's a game I'll literally talk about to this day that had so much potential, but I'm so glad that Warzone kind of filled those shoes. I'm loving Warzone besides obviously
fun.
the hackers and whatnot, and the game hitting 200 gigabytes as of next week.
Yeah, and they don't let you turn that shit off.
No, it's the only way to do that is to kind of, you have to disable cross-platform, but it sucks for me.
No, but they won't let you play Battle Royale unless you have that enabled. So yeah, they give you the option to take that off for multiplayer. But if you want to play Warzone, it has to be on.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right. Well,
because I went and did that.
Oh, all right. Well, I take that back then. But I'm enjoying Warzone, and like I was saying, come like I think it's probably like April 30th or like May 5th or something, they're putting out another update for it, and the game's going to be pushing 190 gigs on console. That's a giant ass. That's a giant game.
But like some of these people's consoles are only what, 500 gigs?
Yeah, I mean,
you better have a damn external.
You need something. I mean, that's
the thing.
I mean, because I feel like you're either the type of player that plays that one game every year, right? Or you're the type of player that you play a lot of games, so you're going to have an external. So if that's your one game, you're still good.
But the problem is that most people aren't going to understand the concept of getting an external or knowing how to like swap their hard drive or anything like that.
How you figure? You don't even have to do anything special. It's not like the PlayStation where you got to open that shit up and put in a new hard drive. Like you literally plug a USB stick in this thing and that's it.
Oh, that's good. That's okay. But like what I thought it was, you had to actually pull the thing apart.
Nah, that's PlayStation.
Ooh.
Xbox, plug it in the USB spot. You're good to go.
I love the facial expression because it's like you almost want to drop kick a PlayStation.
Yeah, because it's so stupid. Like I went on to read it and they're like, oh yeah, you're going to need these like hardware, all these like tools and shit. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like you really want me to put in a new hard drive?
I mean, that's why people buy console. It's like the simplicity of it.
Right.
You just want to kind of plug and play and go.
Exactly.
I do want to sprinkle in one more disappointment, Kingdom Hearts 3. I was very disappointed with Kingdom Hearts 3 because that game has a huge spot in my heart. And playing that, I strictly played it for nostalgia purposes. It just fell so flat for me. I just really wasn't enjoying.
Maybe just because all you press was A?
Yeah, it was not difficult at all. There was really no challenge to it. I like seeing like the different worlds it put you in. Like Toy Story was sick.
Yeah.
Frozen was actually really cool. And just from there, I was just like, oh, like it's the same thing over and over. I was like, whatever. I still finished it. But I was like, yeah, it kind of is what it is. That's the last game I played on console, and my Xbox is still collecting dust, like right down.
I actually undid my Xbox. It is no longer.
You like never played anyway. Like you're only a PC player. Like
I mainly PC it. I mean,
PC?
Mainly PC. Like I had my Xbox on my desk, and I played Division 1 on it, and then I was like, all right, what am I gonna do now? Division 2 came out. I played that for a little bit, and then I was like, why do I have this here? I don't even play it anymore, so I just took it off my desk. It was literally collecting dust and causing problems. So
yeah, I don't have a PlayStation over here. I just have my PC and my Xbox.
In the box. Anything else, Elle, that you could think of?
Do you play VR? Any VR games you like?
So I have a bad taste in my mouth with VR because the first time I tried it, it was in Montreal at DreamHack, and it was after a night of partying, and it was I think it was Rick and Morty or something like that, where I was hungover. and I put the VR goggles on, and my
Yeah.
motion sickness was through the roof.
Worst
So
game you could have played.
Oh my god, I was hurting. I was like, I genuinely think I have to throw up.
Yep.
But I mean, would I try it again? Yeah, I definitely would. But I'm not really gonna rush out of the door and pick up an Oculus or whatever headset that I can play on.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't completely sweep it under the rug. I would definitely want to play Beat Saber. I feel like that game's really cool.
It's the best. But
looks
you
so
can
fun.
you can't play it on PlayStation because PlayStation doesn't allow you to put custom songs.
Mm.
Plus, I think for the money, I would buy just a Quest because I have both PlayStation and a Quest. And for basically the same amount of money as when the PSVR was, first coming out, you can get a Quest. You have way better
Is that the
graphics.
wireless one?
That's the wireless one. Everything's in the headset, so you don't have to be attached to a computer or anything. You're good to go, and you can download custom songs. So we download whatever the hell we want.
That's actually pretty sweet. I might have to give that a go at some point.
Yeah.
I've seen some people playing songs, like doing the Beat Saber songs,
Mm-hmm.
and all I can say to myself is, my arms would break. Like, I don't know how
You
people
you wouldn't be good doing like crazy flailing arms. Like my kid is really good at it, and it's because she knows like motions like with her hands. So like her hands like barely move, but she's like hitting all the boxes. So you have to find that groove.
Comes with experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if
It's
you're
like
trying to
playing
like go
Wii
like
Sports.
this, you're gonna lose.
You ever play Wii Sports or when you were bowling?
Right.
For the
Oh,
first- you
yeah.
Stand
It
up.
was just a flip.
Now I can just sit down on the couch and play.
Right?
It just goes, yeah.
I used to do the same thing to my family. They're like, "Come on, let's play." I'm like, "You don't want to play with me."
Yeah. I'm lazy when it comes to like,
Right?
I could whoop your ass. I won't even have to get off the couch.
Right?
Oh, you put spin on the ball. It's great.
Yeah.
And even if you played baseball, you get velocity on the ball by just snapping your wrist. It just like,
Mm-hmm.
shoots in there.
Excellent. I got one quick question, one last question for you, if L is good.
Yep.
What was your favorite console?
I would have to say PlayStation 2. And that is just because that was when I was really ramping up my video game life. That's where I actually realized that I genuinely enjoyed playing video games.
Mm-hmm.
The games that they had on there were sick. I mean, other than PlayStation 2 strictly for games that were exclusive to it,
Mm-hmm.
if anything sticks out from a social standpoint, which is just kind of like Backstreet Boys was in sync what I'm about to say, but Xbox 360 for a social aspect of it, I remember playing like the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare with my buddies, and we used to run home from school and jump into private matches together and play literally until 4 a.m, 5 a.m. I wasn't even allowed to. I was like, I'm going to bed, and like I would have it all the way turned down, like hiding playing it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was from a social standpoint, I would say 360. But if it ever came down to I had to pick, I would have to go with PS2.
I've said this story before, and Elle's, I'm pretty sure she's heard it before. But when I had to get my PlayStation 2, and I agree, it's one of my favorite consoles. I was working. I got one of the first 2000 off the truck. If you look at the serial number, it's like 18.7 something. I would never get rid of it just because of the serial number alone. But I was working, and I got a phone call on my cell phone. I pick it up. I'm like, hello. And they're like, hello, this is GameStop. We have your PlayStation 2 here. You have to be here within the next hour to pick it up. Because if you don't, we're giving it to the next person on the list. I'm like, I'm working. I can't get there. And they're like, well, that's what's going on. I'm like, hold on 1 second. I was like, I'm calling my parents. So I was like, all right, I'll send my parents, be there shortly. Hung up the phone, called my parents. I'm like, Mom, do you mind coming and pick this thing up? And they're like, okay, sure. Where is it? I'm like, all right, it's at, the mall, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, cool. I was like, the only thing is you need to have the receipt. And they're like, all right, well, where's the receipt? I'm like, I have the receipt on me at work. And they're like, okay, we'll come pick it up. So thankfully it was around the block. So they come around the block, they grab my receipt, they go all the way to the store, and they go to the store and they buy it and they take it and they put it in a black garbage bag, like a contractor bag. And they're like, hold on a second. They're like, why? And they're like, oh, we got to have someone escort you. You guys are going to walk around the mall together for about a half hour. And then after that, you guys can leave the mall and the security guard will escort you to your car. Wow. And then you can leave. And my dad's like, what did this kid freaking buy? But yeah. And what ended up happening is that people were getting mugged when they left the mall because the consoles were in such high demand and they were selling so high, like on like like the back of the truck,
Wow.
that people were getting mugged outside. Their PlayStations were getting taken, so they had to end up getting escorted out by guards.
It's a hell of a story.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but it was like one of those things. I was just like, I'm like, thanks, Mom and Dad, for doing that for me, putting yourselves in harm's way for my PlayStation 2.
For my PlayStation 2. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
I just have to say that you're old.
Thanks.
Because my PlayStation 2 was a Christmas gift.
Oh. That's
like,
nice.
I was still young.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
If you didn't get that part.
I also elbowed a kid in the face when I was on the line waiting for Final Fantasy X because he tried to cut me in line, and I had to get the game and get to class. So I'm standing there online, right? And some kid was like, he's like, "Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited." I'm like, "How old are you?" And he's like, "I'm 14. I was like, "Okay, cool, kid." I'm sitting there. And it was one guy in front of me and then me. And I was there and it was like 9 o'clock in the morning at GameStop. And I'm sitting there. And this kid tried to smidge past me. I'm like, "Hey," I'm online. I'm like, "You gotta wait." He's like, "But I'm so excited." I'm like,
Doesn't matter.
I'm like, "I really don't care." I'm like, "I gotta get my game and I gotta go to class." So I'm like, "You're gonna have to wait." And the father was standing there, and the kid tried to walk past. I just straight up went, "Pink!" And I just knocked him square in the head. And he was like, "Oh."
Good, he deserved it.
And he looked at the father, and the father's like, "He said you should wait."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah."
Love that. And it all circles back. You can't let the little kids win.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, just to wrap things up, normally we ask all the guests one final question. I'm not asking it for a reason because I'll ask all you guys when you guys are all together. So, but why don't you tell everybody where they can find you on your socials and all that fun stuff?
Yeah. So, like we said at the beginning, I'm ChrisP. I'm 1/3 of the founding fathers at Wicked Good Gaming. You can find us on Twitter at Wicked Good Games and every other social media at Wicked Good Gaming. We're starting to ramp up our YouTube as well. So youtube.com/Wicked Good Gaming. And the name of the podcast, which I might be a little biased, but I'm pretty convinced it's the best gaming podcast on the internet besides the Iron Lords. But you can find it. It's not another gaming podcast. We're on all major podcast platforms. It's definitely a breath of fresh air. We have a different voice within the industry. So I definitely think it's cool to check out. Even if you're not an ultimate quote unquote gamer, you can find some humor in it for sure.
Excellent. And I'm happy that you were able to spend some time, come down, talk to us, and hang out for a little bit. So I greatly appreciate you for taking that time out.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And Elle, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
El Boogie 0208. I'm on Mixer Tuesday through Friday, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And I'm here on Mondays. And then on Saturday mornings, I'm on the Grown Woman Gaming Podcast on YouTube with the lovely ladies. And yeah, come take a listen. We got some heated conversations going on now that we're getting other people to come guest.
Yes. If you listened to the last week's podcast, there was some.
Oh, did you listen?
Oh, I was there. I listened. Oh, when my wife was working, I hopped and put my headset on, and there was a couple of very good conversations. So, and Chris, did you tell them what time your podcast is on Thursdays?
I did not. So we live stream the podcast on Twitch. Thank you, Pete. We live stream the podcast on Twitch at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays. It's twitch.tv/Wicked Good Gaming. And then the podcast goes live on all those streaming platforms Friday morning. I think it's at like 5 a.m. Mm-hmm. So you can get it on your Friday commute.
There you go. And so remember, not another game podcast. Women. Oh my God. I always forget I always call it WG. Woosa. My wife came over and gave me a face, and she totally threw me off. So I'm sorry. Grown Woman Gaming Podcast. There we go. So make sure you guys check those things out. As for me, I am Snaldo, also known as Pete. I stream on Twitch 5 days a week, 7 to 10, except for Mondays where I am here. If you're wondering how to spell my name, it is SNALYDO. Just go check me out on Twitter, Discord, all that fun stuff. And this is the Roundtable with the Stream Team. If you want to send an email to one of our guests that are coming on the show, please email us at roundtablestreamteam@gmail.com. Please make sure you are following us on TableStream so that you can end up seeing what's going on, who our next guests are, which is going to be Bob next week, and and all that fun stuff and when things are going to be happening and great things. So thank you very much for hanging out with us today. Make sure you guys go hang out with the Iron Lords podcast Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out our website, which is lordsofgaming.net, for more gaming news. Also, the Wicked Good Gaming podcast, guys. So make sure you guys are checking us all out, because we pretty much, it's the only websites you ever need to go to if you ever need any gaming information. I'm a little biased, but that's what I do. And remember to everyone to dream big and keep gaming, and we will see everyone next week. Bye, everybody, and thank you very much.